Have you ever had one of those days where it feels like your peace is under constant attack? Maybe it's a rude comment, a stressful situation, or just someone's behavior that sets you off. Every little thing gets to you, and before you know it, you're boiling with anger, ready to explode. But what if I told you that you don't have to live like this? What if you could act like nothing disturbs you? What if you could choose your response, no matter what chaos is happening around you? In the world of Stoicism, this isn't just wishful thinking, it's a fundamental truth. Stoics believe that external events don't disturb us, our reactions to them do. Think about that for a second. The situation, the words, the circumstances, they don't have the power to steal your peace. It's your reaction to them that gives them control. By practicing mindfulness, detachment, and emotional discipline, we can reach a state where nothing shakes us. The chaos around you? It's just noise. Your inner peace? Unshakable. Today, we're diving into 12 powerful Stoic lessons, mindfulness techniques, and practical strategies that will help you act like nothing disturbs you anymore. Imagine being so in control of your emotions that even the most stressful situations feel like a breeze. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it's time to break free from emotional reactivity and embrace the power of inner peace. Trust me, once you start applying these principles, you'll wonder why you ever let anything get under your skin in the first place. So here's your mission. Hit that like button for this video. Why? Because when you take action, YouTube sees this content as valuable and spreads it to more people just like you. People who are searching for guidance, just like you. And here's the truth. When you help others, the universe helps you in return. But let's get real for a second. If you can't even take a simple action like clicking the like button, maybe this video isn't for you. Why? Because without action, there's no transformation. No action, no change. It's that simple. So step up. Hit like, subscribe, and share this video. Help others, and watch how things begin to shift in your favor. Are you ready to embrace the power that's been waiting for you all along? Let's dive in and unlock the calmness that's within your reach. Number 1. Recognize that you control your response. Let's face it, life is full of situations that can easily trigger us. The coworker who thinks they're always right, the neighbor who plays music way too loud, or that one person who cuts in line like they own the place. But here's the thing, none of these situations make you angry. Yes, you read that right. Anger isn't something that's done to you. It's something you do to yourself. Think about it. Anger is a choice. It's a reaction, and like any reaction, it's entirely in your control. You may not be able to control the world, but you sure as hell can control how you respond to it. So, the next time life hands you a reason to rage, take a step back and ask yourself, is this truly worth losing my peace? The truth is, it's not. And when you recognize that, you can stop feeding into the chaos. Seneca, the ancient Stoic philosopher, said it best, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Think about it for a second. How many times have you stewed over something in your head, imagining how terrible it's going to be, only to realize that the actual situation was nowhere near as bad as you'd anticipated? That's your imagination playing tricks on you, stirring up emotions that don't even exist outside your head. So what can you do to break free from this mental trap? Stop reacting. Simple as that. Instead, practice responding with calmness. The next time something rubs you the wrong way, hit the pause button. Don't let your emotions hijack your body and mind. Take a deep breath, collect yourself, and ask yourself this: am I choosing to be angry right now? Or am I choosing peace? You'll be amazed at how much power you have when you realize that your emotions don't own you. It's time to stop giving people or situations the power to control your mood. If your boss is rude or your friend cancels plans at the last minute, it's their problem, not yours. You choose whether to get worked up about it, or whether to laugh it off and keep your peace intact. The ability to stay calm, regardless of external circumstances, is the ultimate power. And once you realize that, nothing can disturb your inner tranquility. So, the next time you feel your temper rising, remember, you control your response. Not the world. Not other people. You take that power back and laugh in the face of any nonsense life throws your way. Number 2. Practice mindfulness in every moment. We've all been there. One moment, everything is fine, and the next, we're spiraling into a mini meltdown over something trivial. Maybe it's a late reply from a friend, a colleague taking credit for your idea, or an unplanned detour that makes you late for a meeting. The next thing you know, you're gripped by frustration, your thoughts racing, your heart pounding. But let's stop for a second. Is any of this worth the emotional roller coaster you just hopped onto? Mindfulness is the answer to breaking that cycle. Mindfulness, at its core, is the practice of staying present in the moment, of observing your thoughts and emotions without letting them control you. It's about seeing your emotions, acknowledging them, and then choosing not to let them hijack your day. In short, you don't have to be a slave to your thoughts. Epictetus, the wise Stoic, put it perfectly when he said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." Think about that for a minute. The more we fixate on things we can't control, like other people's actions, the traffic jam on the way to work, or a comment that rubs us the wrong way, the more we lose control over our peace. When we practice mindfulness, we stop handing over our emotional well-being to the uncontrollable chaos of the world. Let's make this practical. Mindfulness isn't some lofty concept or something you do only while meditating on a mountaintop, though. Hey, if you can, go for it. It's about being aware in every moment. Here's how to apply it to your daily life. At work, let's say your boss gives you a last-minute task, and your first reaction is frustration. Instead of snapping, pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this something I can control, or is it just the way things are right now? Acknowledge your frustration, but choose to move forward without letting it consume you. With family or friends, you're having a conversation with a loved one, and they say something that triggers you. Instead of reacting immediately, stop. Take a moment to breathe and listen. Are your thoughts about this situation based on past disappointments, or are you truly present in the moment? By checking in with yourself, you'll have more control over how you respond. In everyday situations, stuck in traffic, instead of fuming about being late, practice mindfulness. Notice your breath, the sensation of your hands on the steering wheel, the sound of the engine. Focus on being aware of the present moment, and see how much better you feel, even in situations you can't change. Actionable tip: start your day with just 5 minutes of mindfulness practice. Focus on your breath, your surroundings, and how your body feels. Then, check in with your thoughts periodically throughout the day. Are you being pulled into past regrets or future anxieties, or are you grounded in the present? Mindfulness is the key to staying centered, no matter what's happening around you. By practicing mindfulness, you keep yourself grounded, calm, and fully present. You stop being swept away by every little thing and reclaim your peace, one breath at a time. Try it. Become the master of your emotions rather than their prisoner. Number 3. Understand that most things are beyond your control. Let's talk about something that can make your blood boil in the most aggravating way: the need to control everything. We've all been there. You plan, you organize, you make the perfect to-do list, and then bam, life smacks you in the face with a dose of reality. That perfect plan? Gone. That smooth road you were cruising on? Suddenly a pothole-filled nightmare. And what happens next? You're frustrated, angry, and desperately trying to force everything back into line. But here's the cold, hard truth: you can't control most things. And trying to? Well, that's just a recipe for unnecessary stress. It's hard to admit, right? It's like you spent your whole life trying to arrange the universe, like a tidy little shelf. But as soon as you turn your back, that shelf collapses. In truth, life is messy, chaotic, and uncontrollable. And the sooner you accept it, the sooner you can stop fighting a battle you're never going to win. That's where the power of Stoic wisdom comes in. Epictetus, the Stoic sage, laid it out plain and simple. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. So what's the takeaway here? Stop clutching your pearls and get off the emotional hamster wheel. Life's curveballs aren't a personal attack. They're just part of the package deal that comes with being alive. You don't have control over other people's behavior, the weather, or whether the coffee shop you love is out of oat milk. But you do have control over your response to these situations. Let that sink in for a second. The next time you find yourself getting bent out of shape because someone's running late, or your plans go off the rails, pause. Take a deep breath and remember, this is not mine to control. You can't force the universe to give you what you want, but you can control how you respond. Will you go into a spiral of rage and frustration, or will you rise above it? The key here is that your peace isn't tied to the uncontrollable mess around you. It's tied to how you choose to see things and how you choose to react. Here's the action tip. Next time something goes wrong, step back and consciously say to yourself, what can I control here? Then, direct all your energy into that. You can control your thoughts, your actions, your mindset, and your perspective. But trying to control the uncontrollable, that's just a waste of your valuable time and energy. Remember this. You don't have to wrestle with life's unpredictability. Instead, you can dance with it. Let go of the need to control, and feel the freedom of embracing what comes your way. Trust me, it's a lot less exhausting. Number 4, choose to let go of what doesn't serve you. Let's get real for a moment. How many times have you found yourself replaying a situation in your mind? Maybe it's a rude comment someone made, a forgotten promise, or the fact that someone cut in line at the coffee shop. And yet, here you are, hours later, fuming over it, as if holding on to that anger is going to somehow change the past. Spoiler alert, it won't. Here's the thing, holding on to anger, resentment, or frustration only disrupts your peace. It's like carrying a heavy backpack full of rocks and wondering why your back hurts. You can't force people to change, and you can't rewrite history. But what you can do is release that weight and stop letting it control your emotional state. The Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius, that ancient master of emotional discipline, said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." The irony? By choosing to let go of your anger, you're not giving the other person the satisfaction of ruining your peace. You're taking back your power. And it's not just Marcus. Epictetus, another Stoic sage, taught us that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. What does this have to do with anger? Everything. When you hold on to negative emotions, you're wanting something that you can't have. An apology, an explanation, justice. But the more you clutch onto these desires, the more you drain your inner resources. By letting go, you free yourself from the endless cycle of wanting things to be different, and you create space for peace. The key to all of this is recognizing that letting go isn't about excusing others' behavior. It's about freeing yourself from their power over your emotions. Do you want someone's careless words or actions to dictate your mood for the next week? I didn't think so. Here's your actionable tip. Start by identifying the things that upset you on repeat. Maybe it's a colleague's passive-aggressive comments, a family member's neglect, or a friend's inconsiderate behavior. When these things come up, pause and mentally picture them as leaves floating away on a stream. Imagine each one carrying your frustration with it, drifting further and further away from you. Watch how the weight of it all lessens as the leaves float off. It's a simple practice, but it works. Letting go doesn't mean you condone bad behavior. It means you're no longer willing to let it take up space in your mind. You've got better things to focus on. So, choose to release what no longer serves you. The more you practice, the stronger you'll become at maintaining peace, no matter what's thrown your way. Number 5. Cultivate compassion for others' struggles. How often do we feel anger or frustration bubbling up when someone else's behavior doesn't align with our expectations? Maybe it's a colleague snapping at you after a stressful meeting, a friend canceling plans at the last minute, or a loved one being distant and emotionally unavailable. The easy reaction is to take it personally and to feel hurt. But what if instead of reacting, we chose to respond with compassion? People often act out of their pain, insecurities, or struggles. When someone lashes out or behaves in a way that frustrates us, it's rarely about us. It's about what they're experiencing internally. Perhaps they've had a difficult day, or they're carrying burdens they haven't shared. In these moments, we have the choice to pause and remember that their behavior may not be a reflection of us, but a sign of their inner turmoil. As Marcus Aurelius said, "What we do now echoes at eternity." Think about that. When someone acts in a way that challenges us, we have the chance to choose how to respond. Our reaction, based on compassion and understanding, will leave a lasting impression, not just on them, but on ourselves. It's easy to mirror negativity with anger, but when we act with compassion, we create a ripple of kindness that can shift the entire dynamic. When we choose compassion, we stop the cycle of frustration. Instead of assuming the worst, we can try to see beyond the surface. The person who cuts you off in traffic or raises their voice during a conversation might be reacting to something you don't know, stress, fear, or a personal struggle. And while this doesn't excuse their behavior, it does allow us to separate their actions from our sense of self-worth. Their struggle doesn't need to be our struggle. Here's your actionable tip. The next time you feel that flash of frustration, pause and take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what might this person be going through that I don't know about? By shifting your mindset from reacting to understanding, you can engage with compassion rather than defensiveness. Choosing compassion doesn't mean excusing someone's hurtful behavior, but rather acknowledging that their actions might stem from their emotional battles. When you show empathy, you also protect your peace. You refuse to be swept away by someone else's storm. Instead, you become the calm in the chaos, offering not just understanding to others, but also to yourself. This practice of compassion not only enhances your relationships, but helps you grow in emotional resilience. In each moment, when we choose to understand rather than judge, we take a powerful step toward inner peace. Compassion is a quiet strength that transforms frustration into wisdom. Number 6. Realize that emotional freedom comes from detachment. Have you ever felt that heavy weight on your chest when someone says or does something that irritates you? It's like their words or actions are an anchor, pulling you down into a sea of frustration. But what if I told you that you have the power to rise above it all, not by changing their behavior, but by changing how you respond? That's where detachment comes in. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It's not about ignoring people or pretending that you don't care. It's about choosing not to let others' actions disrupt your inner peace. It's about maintaining your emotional balance regardless of what happens around you. When you practice detachment, you stop letting other people's behavior control your emotions. Instead of reacting impulsively, you get to choose your response. This is the key to emotional freedom. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, teaches us that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. At first glance, this might seem like an odd quote to apply to detachment. But think about it. When we hold on to the desire for people to behave a certain way, or for situations to turn out how we want, we create emotional attachment. This attachment becomes the source of our suffering. Detachment is about releasing those desires, because when we stop attaching our peace to the way others act, we free ourselves to live calmly, no matter the chaos around us. Think about those situations where people push your buttons. Maybe a colleague constantly interrupts you in meetings, or a friend always makes passive-aggressive comments. It's easy to feel like you're at their mercy, but here's the thing: you have a choice. You can either react with anger and frustration, or you can detach and maintain your calm. It's not about ignoring them, but rather choosing not to let their actions disturb your peace. Here's your actionable tip. Next time someone tries to provoke you or push your buttons, practice detachment. Don't take it personally. Remind yourself that their behavior is a reflection of them, not you. Your inner peace doesn't depend on how others treat you. It depends on how you choose to respond. By practicing detachment, you stop giving away your emotional energy to people who aren't worthy of it. By learning to detach, you gain emotional freedom. You stop giving others the power to control how you feel. Instead, you take back control, choosing calm, clarity, and peace, no matter the external circumstances. And the more you practice detachment, the easier it becomes to navigate even the most difficult situations with grace and resilience. Number 7. Respond with calm instead of reaction. We've all been there. Life throws a curveball. Someone's rude to you, or a situation goes sideways, and your first instinct is to react. Maybe you snap back at a colleague who interrupted you in a meeting, or you argue with a loved one who has said something that hurt. In the heat of the moment, it feels like you're right, and reacting feels justified. But what if, instead of reacting impulsively, you paused and chose to respond with calmness instead? Here's the thing: reacting impulsively only adds fuel to the fire. When we respond in anger or frustration, we let the situation control us. But when we choose to respond calmly, we maintain control over our emotions and keep the peace. This isn't just about keeping up appearances or being polite. It's about actively choosing emotional resilience over emotional chaos. Marcus Aurelius, in his Infinite Stoic Wisdom, said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Think about that for a moment. When someone is rude, disrespectful, or disruptive, responding with equal aggression only lowers you to their level. But when you respond with calmness, you rise above the situation, preserving your dignity and sense of peace. You show strength in how you manage yourself, and you don't allow others' behaviors to dictate your emotional state. Let's look at a few examples from everyday life. Imagine you're having a conversation with a friend who interrupts you constantly. Your immediate reaction might be irritation, or you might want to interrupt right back, but instead, you pause. You take a deep breath and choose silence, waiting for the right moment to calmly express how their behavior makes you feel. By doing this, you maintain control over your emotions and avoid a heated argument. Or perhaps you're at work, and a colleague makes a mistake that delays the entire project. It's easy to get upset, but before you react, take a step back. Instead of criticizing or complaining, you offer a solution or calmly explain the impact of their actions on the team. This approach prevents unnecessary drama and shows maturity, turning frustration into constructive feedback. Here's your actionable tip. When you feel stress or anger bubbling up, pause and ask yourself, how can I respond with calmness instead of reacting in anger? Take a few deep breaths, give yourself a moment, and choose a response that doesn't escalate the situation. Sometimes, silence is the best choice, as it gives you the space to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Choosing calm over reaction not only preserves your peace, but also empowers you. The more you practice this, the more emotionally resilient you become, navigating life's disruptions with clarity and control. Number 8. Shift your focus from what you can't control to what you can. Ever caught yourself ruminating over things completely out of your control? Maybe it's the weather ruining your weekend plans, a colleague's poor decision that impacts your project, or waiting for someone else's approval before you can move forward. It's a cycle, isn't it? We worry, stress, and waste energy on things we simply can't change. But here's the cold, hard truth. Energy spent worrying about what you can't change is energy wasted. And why would you waste energy when you could be investing it in something far more empowering? The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, were masters of this. He famously said, "What we do now echoes at eternity." Think about that. Every moment and every action we take sends ripples that affect our lives and our future. Yet, how often do we focus our energy on the wrong things? The things that have no impact on the present or future. When we focus on the uncontrollable, we rob ourselves of the opportunity to act with purpose. Here's the truth. Your energy is too valuable to waste on things beyond your control. No amount of stress, frustration, or overthinking can change the past, the weather, or someone else's choices. But you can control how you respond to those situations. You can control your mindset, your attitude, and your actions. The power is always in your hands. Let's take a real-world example. Imagine you're working on a group project at work. One of your teammates drops the ball and misses a deadline, affecting the entire team. Naturally, you might feel frustration building. After all, their actions are causing problems for you. But instead of stewing in anger over what they did, which you can't change, shift your focus to what you can do. Can you communicate calmly with your teammate? Can you find a solution to get back on track? Can you adjust your tasks to keep things moving forward? Or consider a situation at home where family members are being difficult. Instead of endlessly debating with them, ask yourself what you can control in the moment. Can you control how you respond, how you set boundaries, or how you decide to protect your peace? That's where your power lies, in your own choices and actions. So, here's your actionable tip. When you feel your mind drifting toward things you can't change, gently shift your focus back to what you can control. Focus on your present actions, your attitude, and the mindset you choose to adopt. Start making conscious decisions about where you want to direct your energy, and watch as your stress and frustration begin to diminish. The more you focus on what you can control, the more empowered and at peace you'll feel. Let go of the things that don't serve you, and harness the power of your actions in the present moment. Number 9. Keep your long-term goals in mind. We've all been there. A small frustration ruins your day. Maybe it's a misunderstanding with a partner, a comment at work that hits you the wrong way, or a roadblock in your personal goals. Anger and frustration often rise in the heat of the moment, but what if you could step back and say, "Is this worth my time and energy?" When you keep your long-term goals in focus, these minor setbacks lose their ability to control you. Instead of getting swept up in the small stuff, you can maintain your calm and keep your eyes on the prize. Think about a situation at work. You've been putting in long hours, pushing towards that promotion. Then, your boss criticizes a small aspect of your recent project. It stings, doesn't it? In that moment, it's easy to feel like everything you've worked for is suddenly at risk. But when you zoom out and focus on the bigger picture, you realize that a single comment doesn't define your journey. Your goal is that promotion, and one critique won't stop you from getting there. By maintaining focus on your long-term aspirations, you can let go of the momentary frustration and channel your energy into improving and moving forward. Now, let's bring this into the realm of relationships. Perhaps you're dating someone, and an argument leaves you feeling hurt. It's tempting to focus on the argument, to fixate on the words said, and let those frustrations cloud your judgment. But remember, the long-term goal here is building a healthy, supportive relationship. One fight doesn't define the entire relationship, and by keeping your long-term goal in mind, you can address the issue calmly and constructively, without letting the momentary tension take over. So, here's where Stoicism shines. Epictetus reminds us to, don't waste time on what's not important. How often do we waste energy on small annoyances that don't truly serve us or help us achieve our goals? Anger, frustration, and distractions pull us away from what matters most. So why let them control your emotional state? Here's your actionable tip. When anger or frustration arises, pause and ask yourself, does this contribute to my long-term goals? Does getting upset about this minor setback help you get closer to your promotion, your relationship goals, or your personal growth? Focus your energy on things that align with your values and aspirations. Don't let small obstacles derail you from the path you've chosen. When you keep your long-term goals in sight, setbacks become mere blips in the road, temporary and insignificant in the grand scheme of your journey. Number 10. Practice acceptance and embrace what is. Ever find yourself caught in a situation that makes you uncomfortable, irritated, or downright angry? Maybe your plans get derailed, or someone you care about does something that makes you question everything. In those moments, the urge to resist, to fight against what's happening, is so strong. But here's a reality check. Fighting what is only makes life harder. It's like pushing against a current. It wears you out. And for what? So, what if you could choose to accept things as they are, instead of resisting them? Imagine how much peace and emotional freedom that could give you. Acceptance doesn't mean you're giving up, or that you're okay with bad situations. It means you're acknowledging reality and deciding to work with it, rather than against it. This is where Stoicism offers powerful guidance. Marcus Aurelius, in his wisdom, said, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." In other words, life isn't always going to hand you the perfect scenario, and people won't always behave the way you expect or hope. But by accepting what is, by embracing the reality in front of you, you unlock emotional freedom and resilience. Let's consider a real-world example. Maybe you're in a relationship, and your partner does something that annoys you. It could be something small, like forgetting an important date, or something bigger, like not communicating well. At first, it's easy to get upset and resist. Why do they always do this? I can't deal with this. But what if you took a step back and practiced acceptance? Instead of fighting against your partner's actions, you embrace the situation for what it is. Maybe they're stressed, maybe they've forgotten, maybe it's not the end of the world. By accepting it without judgment, you free yourself from frustration and can approach the situation with calmness and clarity, ready to address the issue healthily. In the workplace, think about a scenario where a colleague fails to deliver on a task you're both responsible for. At first, it's easy to get upset and frustrated. Why don't they get their act together? This is messing everything up. But when you embrace the situation as it is, instead of resisting, you might ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I solve the problem instead of complaining about it? This shift in perspective not only frees you from the anger, but also opens up the possibility for solutions. Here's your actionable tip. The next time you face an uncomfortable situation, practice acceptance. Instead of fighting what's happening, embrace it for what it is. See it as an opportunity to practice patience and resilience. Acceptance doesn't mean you agree with everything. It means you're choosing peace over resistance. When you embrace what is, you flow with life instead of fighting it. And that's where true freedom lies. Number 11. Trust that you are capable of overcoming any challenge. Life has a funny way of throwing curveballs when you least expect them. One minute everything is going smoothly, and the next, chaos. Maybe it's a sudden change in your work life, a challenging relationship, or a personal setback that feels like it's knocking you down. In those moments, it's easy to feel overwhelmed or like you're incapable of handling it all. But here's the secret. You are capable of overcoming anything life throws your way. The key isn't avoiding difficulties. It's knowing that you have the inner strength to navigate them with calmness and resilience. As Epictetus wisely said, the greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. Life's challenges are not obstacles to your happiness. They're opportunities for growth, learning, and showing yourself just how strong you truly are. Every challenge you face gives you a chance to test your emotional resilience, apply your Stoic wisdom, and emerge stronger and wiser. Let's take a real-world example. Maybe you're going through a rough patch at work, a project isn't going as planned, or you're facing a conflict with a colleague. It can be easy to panic, to stress out, and to feel like you're sinking. But instead of letting the situation control you, take a deep breath and remind yourself, I am capable of handling this. You've faced challenges before and come out the other side. The key is staying grounded, trusting in your abilities, and knowing that this situation, like all others, will eventually pass. Your response to the challenge is what truly matters. In your personal life, perhaps you're facing a tough situation with a loved one. Maybe there's been a disagreement or some emotional distance. It's easy to feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, but trust in your ability to remain calm and compassionate. You don't need to have all the answers right away. Sometimes, it's enough to simply be present, to listen, and to approach the situation with patience and understanding. By practicing Stoic calm in these moments, you remind yourself that you are capable of handling the highs and lows of life with grace. Here's your actionable tip. When you face a challenge, remind yourself that you are capable of overcoming it. Take a moment to reflect on past difficulties that you've managed to navigate. Whether big or small, they show you the strength you already possess. Use each challenge as an opportunity to practice emotional resilience, stay calm, and reinforce your confidence in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Every challenge is a chance to strengthen your inner peace, deepen your understanding, and build a sense of self-reliance that no external circumstance can touch. You are capable. Never forget that. Number 12. Live with purpose and clarity. Life has a way of testing our patience. Difficult situations, unexpected challenges, and the endless stream of distractions that come with daily living. But what if there was a way to reduce the impact of these external disturbances? What if, instead of being swept away by frustration or anger, you could anchor yourself in something deeper, something unshakable? The answer lies in living with purpose and clarity. When you live with a clear sense of purpose, it becomes far easier to navigate the chaos that life throws your way. Anger and frustration no longer have the same power over you. They become mere passing clouds on a day when your vision remains bright and clear. Purpose and clarity act as shields, helping you deflect the negative energy that others or the world might send your way. Instead of reacting to every little setback, you respond with calmness, knowing that you have a bigger picture guiding you forward. Socrates famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." In other words, living without purpose, without examining your values, your goals, and your direction, leaves you vulnerable to the whims of external events and emotions. When you examine your life, you create a vision that's uniquely yours. This vision serves as your compass, directing you toward your higher goals and values, and giving you a solid foundation to withstand the storms that might come your way. Imagine a scenario in your personal life. Perhaps a disagreement with a friend or family member leaves you feeling angry. In the past, you might have reacted impulsively, letting the frustration take over. But with purpose and clarity, you approach the situation differently. You take a step back, remember your core values, and ask yourself, what truly matters here? Instead of reacting to the emotion of the moment, you choose to act with understanding, guided by your sense of purpose rather than your fleeting emotions. Now think about your professional life. Maybe a difficult project or a challenging coworker has been frustrating you. It's easy to get caught up in the moment and let the frustration derail your focus. But when you live with clarity, you know your purpose, whether it's professional growth, teamwork, or personal achievement. This clarity allows you to stay on track and use setbacks as opportunities to strengthen your resolve, instead of succumbing to stress or anger. Here's your actionable tip. Take time, whether through meditation, journaling, or quiet reflection, to examine what matters most to you. What are your core values? What do you want to achieve in the long run? Once you've identified these, align your daily actions with these principles. When challenges arise, pause for a moment and ask yourself, is this in line with my purpose? Let your core values guide your emotional responses, helping you stay grounded and focused, no matter what chaos may surround you. Living with purpose and clarity is more than just a tool for emotional control. It's a way of life. When you know where you're going, anger, frustration, and even disappointment become less significant. They lose their ability to derail you because your attention is firmly fixed on the bigger picture and on the long-term goals that matter most. Conclusion: living with purpose and clarity isn't just a philosophy. It's a powerful tool that allows you to navigate through life with a sense of peace that others might envy. When you ground yourself in what truly matters, when your values are your compass, nothing, absolutely nothing, can disturb your inner peace. Life will throw its usual curveballs, sure, but with a clear vision and a sense of purpose, you'll handle each one with the calm and clarity of a Stoic master. As we discussed, anger and frustration often arise from feeling as though we've lost control. But when you align your actions with your purpose, those small irritations, miscommunications, and challenges no longer have the power to derail you. You begin to see them as opportunities to reaffirm your strength, to practice patience, and to reinforce your ability to choose your emotional response. In essence, you regain control over yourself, no matter what's going on in the world around you. So let's make it practical. What's one way you can apply purpose and clarity to your life today? Is it setting a clear intention for your day? Or perhaps taking a moment to reflect on your values when life tries to pull you in a different direction? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you plan to keep your peace and stay focused on what truly matters. And here's the thing: like, share, and subscribe if you're ready to choose calm over chaos in your life. When you take action, when you engage with this content, you help others who might be struggling with the same challenges. Together, we can build a community where we're not just talking about Stoic wisdom, we're living it. By embracing these principles, we can all achieve a level of emotional freedom where nothing disturbs us anymore. The journey to living a life where nothing disturbs you starts right here. It starts with purpose, it starts with clarity, and it starts with you. Let's embrace that power and move forward, stronger, calmer, and more in control than ever before.